7 months ago, the quest for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship began, and 24 races later, we're live at California Speedway as 3 men have a shot at running down their dream in the NAPA Auto Parts 200. Greg Biffle comes into today's race holding a slim 21-point lead, but Benny Parsons, he did not help himself yesterday in qualifying.
The road was kind of level coming to Fontana, but he got caught in a gust to win in qualifying yesterday, qualified 24th, trying to work his way through this field and get back up front to win the championship. Will be a struggle for Biffle.
He's going to climb the mountain, but he sits atop of it right now. As we take a look at the points coming in, you'll notice that it's a 21-point margin back to Jack Sprague in second place. Then 25 back to Dennis Setzer. Those 3 guys will settle who's going to win this championship today. Last year, we thought we had the perfect scenario. Final turn, final lap. The championship came down to 3 points, and it was decided by the guys who finished first and second. Benny, we didn't think it could get any better, but here we got 3 guys, and we're at California.
California Speedway is one of the best racetracks on the circuit for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This race last year in July was the best race I saw all year long. I'm talking about Cup, Busch, anything. It was the best race. And this year, we have 3 guys going for a championship.
25 battles to decide who wins the war. The 3 of them that stand atop will square off in just a matter of moments. When we come back, we'll set the starting field and run down the dream. The main entrance of California Speedway, almost everybody that is coming to today's race, and we've got a great crowd on hand, is here. And Benny Parsons, there is the points leader, Greg Biffle in the Granger Ford. There's the front row of Andy Houston, and alongside Jay Sauter. In fact, let's take a look at our Mopar starting grid. Andy Houston has 2 career poles. Guess where they are? Right here at California Speedway. Jay Sauter looking to make it 3 wins in a row. In row number 2, Jack Sprague, there he is. The Chevrolets were dominant in the wind-blown qualifying. More on that in a moment. Joe Ruttman, there, the number 1 Dodge qualifier. Stacy Compton will be back in row number 3 in another of the Dodges, alongside of 2-time champion Ron Hornaday. In row number 4, Carlos Contreras from Mexico City, a big surprise in qualifying. Did a great job, and there's Dennis Setzer, the man who's 3rd in the points championship. In row number 5, Randy Renfro, and the first of the Fords. That's right, the first Ford is all the way back in 10th place, and it's Boris Said at the wheel.
In row 6 on the inside, Kenny Schrader. The Winston Cup fellows have a weekend off. Schrader comes to California. My pick to win the race alongside Terry Cook. In row 7, Butch Miller on the inside, back in the 55 truck, and Jimmy Hensley. In row 8, Marty Houston and Mike Bliss's last ride in the Exide Ford. In row 9, Rick Crawford and Kevin Harvick, his last ride in the 98 Porter Cable Ford. And Randy Tolman, Kevin Zawinski in row 10.
And as we move back into row number 11, Mike Wallace, look for him to move to the front. That's been his tradition. Bob Keselowski alongside in a backup truck. He'll be moving to the rear. Bobby Hamilton, and there's your points leader. Greg Biffle, 24th, his worst start by 10 positions. Ron Barfield in the number 42 Chevrolet. Austin Cameron right alongside in row 13. Then Tommy Croft making his 2nd career start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with Lance Norton, Rob Morgan, and B.A. Wilson in row number 15.
See Mike Stefanik, David Starr back in row 16. In row 17 is Lonnie Rush and Rich Woodland. And the last row, Tom Bambard and Rick Ware.
Race analysis, 100 laps, a purse of over $430,000. Look for the pit stops around lap 40. Jack Sprague holds the race record. And the closest 3-way battle to the championship in Truck Series history is being run today. And as the trucks come out of turn number 4, we go to war for the final time in 1999. 25 rounds of racing to crown the championship, and it will be decided in the next 2 hours here at California Speedway with a great crowd on hand. Remember, this place holds 100,000 people, and the final round of 1999 is green.
There they go, 3-4 wide down the backstretch, trying to get position.
This is where the wind was extremely tricky yesterday in qualifying, although it has died down momentarily. There's Biffle trying to get underneath as we're getting ready to complete lap number 1. Who's going to lead it? It will be Jack Sprague, but there is Biffle alongside his Killer Bee teammate for the final time, Mike Bliss.
And that was big for Jack Sprague. He got 5 bonus points for leading the lap. See Biffle on the inside of Bliss, but Bliss comes back. Mike Wallace watches this battle alongside or behind Jimmy Hensley.
We got a spinner. Rick Crawford has spun in turn number 2. Can he get it refired and keep it from going yellow? So far, so good. He's down on the apron. The Circle Bar RV Ford is underway. We will not go yellow. The race leader comes through turn 4. Jack Sprague in front. Ron Hornaday has shot up into second place. Third is Joe Ruttman. There's Andy Houston in 4th. On board with Houston.
Jay Saul of the Goodrich Chevrolet, his last race for Richard Childress in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So many stories inside this 200-lap race, 200-mile race today. 100 laps.
Down the backstretch, Jack Sprague wants to lead the most laps. He's already picked up the bonus point for leading a lap. We can tell you that Biffle is back to 18th position after starting 24th in just 2 laps. On board with Joe Ruttman. Boy, what a catbird's view of what's going on with the 2 arch rivals. The last time that these 2 are going to battle on a regular basis. Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague.
With so much at stake, Jack Sprague has a little help from his friends, but his spotter, his brother, Jason Pass, just before the green, told Jack, okay, the pace car's off, you call your own start. So, credit for Jack Sprague, and that great start goes to Jack Sprague, and he gets those 5 points, even though Hornaday now takes the lead.
Upper left-hand points. This is the way it would end right now, and you can see who would get the championship. It would be Jack Sprague, but we've got a lot of laps to go. Hornaday wants to finish his career in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with a win. We talked about all that traffic Greg Biffle's got to deal with, Benny.
And there he is on the inside of Kevin Harvick, the Porter Cable Truck, trying to get by. Can he get by? In happy hour, he and Harvick ran side by side. He could not pass the 98. Is he going to be different today in the race?
On board the Granger Ford. He does get him. This one.
He's loose! He's loose! And somehow he saved that truck.
Harvick does a great job of not plowing him from behind. And same for Randy Tolsma.
And there they go 3 wide as Bobby Hamilton dove to the inside. Now back up front.
Harvick now underneath Biffle. He had to burn up some of the tires on the right side with that wild slide. The 04 is Bobby Hamilton right in front of Greg Biffle. That last lap, 170 miles an hour.
Harvick dives to the inside. This time Biffle takes it easy a little bit because he doesn't really know what's going to happen down this corner. Now he comes back on the outside. Looks like the truck is getting the grid back there up on the high side of the racetrack.
No wild slide through turn 2 this time. Let's go back and take a look because this was close.
I think that maybe the Harvick truck took the air off the spoiler because right there, that truck looks like it's lost, and somehow he brings it back and really didn't bobble that much.
Both Tolsma and Harvick do a great job of checking up, and all 3 trucks are still underway. You see that Ron Hornaday is still your race leader, while we're watching Greg Biffle still listed in 18th position. There you see his 1999 Super Speedway record, and he's done very well, an average finish of about 4.7.
Bobby Hamilton right in front of Greg Biffle. Hamilton started in the 23rd position, is now working his way up to 17th. If we go back to the lead, we saw Ron Hornaday go by. There's Sprague and there's Ruttman.
Well, Hornaday finished 3rd here last year and 9th at California Speedway back in 1997. Remember that long stretch as we go on board with Jack Sprague. Hornaday in his last 5 races has finished 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 10th. So 5 straight top 10 finishes, but he has yet to win a race in the last 21 starts. Could it be today? Well, maybe. We'll find out at the NAPA 200 here at California Speedway. Stay with us. Back at California Speedway for the NAPA Auto Parts 200. You're looking at the race leader, Ron Hornaday. Right behind him is Jack Sprague. And in 3rd place, it is Joe Ruttman. Then the 75 of Marty Houston, the Spear Chevrolet, is making an unscheduled pit stop as he has made his way to pit lane, and we'll see what happens. It looks like they're going to the front end.
Looks like the thing was overheating. Looked like maybe they took some tape off the grill to get more air in to cool it off. As we see, Greg Biffle has been able to get by Mike Wallace. Picks up another spot, moves into the 14th position.
On board with Mike Wallace. 89 laps to go out of the 100 schedule. The wind yesterday was literally unbelievable, and it seemed to affect the Fords the worst.
Greg Biffle and Mike Wallace both yesterday almost crashed up in 3 and 4, trying to make their qualifying run. As we see Ron Hornaday still continues to lead in the NAPA Auto Parts Chevrolet. We have the Chevrolet, the GMAC of Jack Sprague in second, Joe Rutman and Jay Sauter. That's the top 4.
In fact, Sprague was quoted, there he is in second place behind Hornaday. He was quoted as saying, bring on more wind. He says it seems to help the Chevrolets, and it did definitely yesterday in qualifying. Right now, the breeze is about half of what it was yesterday, but it has been gusting from time to time. There you see Hornaday is lead, started 6th, and he's led 9 of the 12 laps so far. Napa field summary, and take a look at Biffle. If the race ended right now, would drop 2 spots to 3rd, but as we said, we've got a long way to go. He's running in 14th. Tell you what, Rutman's looking real good here in the early going.
Rutman's running very well. And Ron Hornaday has struggled this year. We talked about it, but at Texas, he ran awfully strong. As a matter of fact, it looked like he was going to make a runaway of the race. And here today, he's running well again. Dennis Setzer, he's currently running in the 5th position. That's Setzer in the number 1 Mopar Dodge.
And look who's coming up on the outside. Just got around Randy Renfro. There you see him in the number 52 as we're on board with Dennis Setzer. That is Kenny Schrader, and yesterday at happy hour, he was awesome.
He was very, very fast.
Dave, you got more?
Well, guys, people may wonder why Scott Hansen is not in the truck this weekend, and I checked with the Ken Schrader-owned camp, and they said because Ken can drive the truck. He's the owner. He is driving the truck. And Scott and him are still friends. They rode out here in the camper together, and Scott Hansen is spotting for Ken Schrader today.
He's doing a good job of spotting right now because his driver has moved into 6th position.
And Terry Cook, the 88, trying to look on the inside of Schrader, but here goes Schrader up on the outside. And Dennis Setzer now losing 2 positions as Terry Cook goes by, and here comes the 86 truck of Stacy Compton.
Is there something wrong with that? I mean, he just lost 3 positions. Now it's going to be 4. Here comes Andy Houston.
I think right now Dennis Setzer is points racing. That would be my guess anyway.
But Benny, I talked to him yesterday, and he said, no, I'm going to try and go to the front. I've got to lead laps. I've got to be up there. I've got to put pressure on these guys. He's going in the wrong direction.
And here comes Biffle. He's not that far behind Setzer right now.
Dennis Setzer was running in 5th. He has dropped all the way back to 10th in just 1 lap. And here comes Butch Miller in the Ice House Beer Ford. Well, I was listening, I didn't hear anything wrong, but boy, that last lap really fell off the pace. On board now with Andy Houston. Andy running in 9th. That's Randy Renfro right in front of him. That's what it looks like from the outside. Houston still looking for his first victory of the year, and he was one of those. Oh no! Schrader is spun!
And this is right in front of Setzer and Biffle.
Right into turn 4, and Setzer is in it.
Who else is this involved?
Coming down the front straightaway is Terry Cook.
That's Cook involved.
There is the damage on the number 1 of Dennis Setzer. The yellow is out. And it looks like Setzer's chances of winning the championship may have just gone into the turn 4 wall. Amy.
Looks like some heavy damage to the right front fender. They're gonna, oh, he shut it off. He knows that they've got damage all over the place. This is not what Dennis Setzer in this Mopar Dodge needed. He had nothing to lose. They'll probably still finish 3rd in points, but the championship, this could have taken it away right here.
Back in 1993, he finished 2nd to a guy by the name of Barry Begley in the Winston Racing Series. That's the closest he's come to a touring championship. This would have been his first, and he pulled it off. Barry, he said, would be watching today. Barry, your old Warhorse buddy is in trouble, but it looks like they're going to try and put him behind the wall, fix whatever damage they can, and see what they can do. The yellow is out. It looks like that's Kenny Schrader already into the pits. Here comes Terry Cook. He was involved in the accident as well.
Must be left side damage on Terry Cook's vehicle. I see a lot of smoke with no damage to the right side. The crew's coming around to the right side. The damage has got to be somewhere on the left.
I don't don't even think they are quite sure themselves. They're going up underneath the hood. And there is Greg Biffle. He somehow got through. He is in 11th, and that was what we talked about at the beginning. Could he survive anything that happened as he tries to fight his way back to the front? Stay with us. The championship is still yet to be decided. Under yellow here at California Speedway, and everybody is coming in under our first caution of the day, led by race leader Ron Hornaday. Amy?
Greg Biffle's coming in for left side tires and fuel. They look over the truck to make sure everything looks good. Randy Gospel's coming over the guys. He's down, he's out. Good stuff for Biffle.
Left side tires for Ron Hornaday, chassis adjustment as well. Left side tires for Jack Sprague, a pound out of the left rear. It's a drag race down pit lane.
And Ron Hornaday won the drag race, and it's interesting, Benny, everybody seems to be going to the lefts, although I saw Andy Houston in the Cat Rental Chevy, he put right sides on.
And that really is strange, because obviously you see that all the force on these race cars are on the right side, so why wouldn't they change right side tires? Strange what these fellows, what they're thinking is going on down in the pit area.
Well, Goodyear said that they could go quite a distance on these tires, and there's the area cleanup, and there is Dennis Setzer behind the wall after this early crash. And let's go back and show you exactly what happened.
Now we already see the 52 truck, the Oakwood Homes truck of Schrader going around. That's Terry Cook right behind him. And look at Setzer. Here he comes. All of a sudden he realizes he has no place to go, and Biffle just barely squeaks by in that Granger Ford on the bottom of the racetrack. That was heavy contact between Setzer. Now once again, let's see if the 88 truck of Terry Cook goes up and gets in the back. No, it doesn't look like. Looks like Schrader just got up close enough that the air came off the rear spoiler on the Oakwood Home Chevrolet, and around he goes.
There's the contact with Setzer coming in.
Now let's take a ride with Dennis Setzer, the onboard camera. This is going in turn 3. And listen. You see one reason that he spun, because Butch Miller in the Ice House truck ran in the back of Setzer, which started the spin.
Amy?
Well, Dennis, we just got done seeing your onboard footage, and it just looked like it was an incident where Schrader just got tangled up in front of you and you had nowhere to go. What did you see from your point?
Yeah, Schrader got loose or something in front of us. We backed off and got bumped a little bit from the rear and didn't have no way around it right there. But it's been a really good year for Team Mopar, and I appreciate all the support from Mopar and the K Automotive.
You came into this championship chase with nothing to lose. I said that in the open. No matter what, you're going to finish third, but have to be disappointed with not being able to win this thing.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year for us, so we just had to start tomorrow and work on 2000.
All right, well, Dennis Setzer, he's one of the most optimistic drivers down here, and even though a victim of circumstance today, he's still a champion in the Truck Series.
Well, California's not been good to Dennis Setzer. He's never led a lap here, and his best finish was 26th. Stay with us. Back with more after this. Our first caution due to the spin and crash with the 52 of Kenny Schrader, and also swept up the number 1 of Dennis Setzer, and the green flag flies, and we're back to racing here at California Speedway.
Randy Renfro, dark truck in front, is the leader. The 73 truck B.A. Wilson is in second spot, and we see Ron Hornaday has now moved into third.
Yeah, those two at the front did not take advantage of the caution. They stayed out. They're going to try and pick up some points, get a little camera time for their sponsors. They're doing a good job of it, but it'll be a matter of time before the fresher tires come into play. In fact, the last time Renfro, there you see Terry Cook back out on the track. He was also involved in that crash. Renfro at the point, the last time he led a race was back at Richmond.
And we see Renfro is not going to lead this lap, but here comes Hornaday and Jack Sprague off the corner.
So Ron Hornaday regains the race lead. That'll be our 4th lead change among 3 different drivers. On board with Ron Hornaday, looking it back to Jack Sprague. You know the irony I just thought about as we're watching this championship battle unfold, Benny? Remember the first race of the season, Dennis Setzer was dead last, 34th out of the 34 truck field, blew an engine. I'm looking at the scoreboard right now. He is shown in 36th position as he is the guys are having a great run. Look at this, down on the apron.
Right on the apron of the racetrack where there's very little banking at all, but Hornaday does not want Sprague getting under, get position, does not want to lose that lead. And you can see the last time they ran almost identically the same speed.
You know, Hornaday has no chance at the championship this year, but you know he's led more laps than anybody else by a wide margin. He has now led 905 laps this year. They had a roast for Ron Hornaday last night. In fact, Ron took some very good ribbing from the guy who's running in second place, Jack Sprague. In fact, they were talking about the number of times they've had contact with one another, and Sprague said, I'm one up on you. He says, well, Hornaday said, that's until tomorrow. Those two are duking it out. We've got racing action all over the racetrack here. In fact, back in the battle for 8th. As you look past these guys, you'll pick up the number 50 of Greg Biffle and the number 3 of Jay Sauter. And Biffle has managed to survive the first crash. Look at them trying to weave their way and break up the aerodynamic airflow. And Biffle now running 8th and picking his way towards the front.
He and Jay Sauter were side by side when they crossed the start-finish line the last time, but we see that right now Biffle has about a 2-truck length advantage on Jay Sauter as he tries his best to chase down Randy Tolsma.
Dave, you got more on Jay Sauter?
Marty, they tried to correct a loose condition when he came in. They put on right side tires and actually, it would be a tight condition, I think, because they put they took a rubber out of the right rear. Can't read my own notes. That is hopefully going to tighten Jay Sauter up. Andy Houston, by the way, was tight. They took on rights and made a track bar adjustment. And I asked Steve Meal, crew chief for Ron Hornaday, about that stop for left side tires, Benny, and he said they're going to try to make it a 2-stop race if need be. This should take them up through about lap 60 where they need to stop for the last time. That's if the yellows don't play that way.
So these guys wanted the better tires on the right side for the end of the race rather than right now is why they all chose to change lefts.
And remember the rule in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing, under yellow you can only change 2 tires, and that's what makes the strategy so interesting as we're on board with Andy Houston. Andy currently running in 10th position. You're looking back at Mike Wallace in 11th. The wind has changed, Benny. Now it's blowing more towards where it may have an effect, if any, down in turns 1 and 2.
Down in turn 1, but the wind is certainly nothing like it was yesterday afternoon. There must have been, and the caution flag, it waves once again.
And a crash up in turn number 2. Several trucks involved. It is the 14 of Rick Crawford. It looked like either the 45 of David Starr or the 46 of Rob Morgan. Those are team trucks, and I cannot make out the number on the others. Oh, there's Austin Cameron. The front of his Stainmaster Carpet Chevrolet is crushed. And here is one of the Axiom Fords. Oh, it's Kevin Sawinski, his last ride in the Auto Trim Design Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford.
And Crawford, look at the damage to that circle bar Ford Taurus, the back end just completely, and there's David Starr in the Axiom truck that's...
He's got a flat rear as well and a lot of damage, and there's Rick Crawford. Let's go back and take a look. Boy, it is torn up.
Never see Austin Cameron with the Ford truck. He's going to be involved, and Rick Crawford looks like just lost it. He spins across. Starr gets in the back of the 31 truck, and the 7 also comes in. That's Lonnie Rush. Makes some contact as well.
Or not Lonnie Rush, I should say Tom Bambar. There is what's left of Kevin Sawinski's truck. Stay with us. We're under our second caution of the day. We'll clean it up, go back to racing. Cleanup under our second caution continues down in turn number 2. And let's take you back and give you one more look at what happened.
The Ford truck is Austin Cameron. He is going to be involved, but we're not going to see the crash. All of a sudden, Rick Crawford, the blue truck, just spins around, and we see 45 of David Starr gets in the back of the 31 of Zawinski, and along comes Lonnie Rush and the 7 trucks. All 4 of those involved, plus Austin Cameron eventually gets by and goes up and runs head on in the wall off turn 2.
So far, everybody is okay physically. The cars and trucks, I should say, have been damaged heavily, and they're in the process of being removed. We're still under caution. We'll take another commercial break. That's Randy Goss, crew chief for Greg Biffle. Pit lane, along alongside of Benny Parsons. I'm Marty Reed, and we are working on the lap number 34 of 100, an extended caution after the four-truck smash-up in turn number 2, but it does look like we will go green this time around because the lights are out on the pace truck, and there's our current leader, Ron Hornaday.
You see the trucks weaving back and forth. That's simply to clean the tires of any debris. These tires get very, very hot, about 225 degrees. And when they slow down and run at this speed, they will pick up debris, small pieces of stone, debris on the racetrack. And when they throw the green flag and these trucks go down into turn 1, if that debris isn't cleaned off the tire, they slide across the racetrack and sometimes even spin out.
Hornaday has led 26 of 33 laps so far, and you talk about always being a champion. He is the only two-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. 121 career races. He has 64 top 5s, 91 top 10s, and the biggest category, he leads in career victories with 25. And I think he wants to make it 26 today.
No, he wants to leave the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with a victory. There's no doubt about that.
And he said last night at the roast that he will be coming back to make, shall we say, cameo appearances from time to time. But of course, he is moving on to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated's Busch Series program. And we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at California Speedway. The pace truck just about ready to turn into pit lane off of turn 4. We have 25 trucks on the lead lap. Hornaday. Behind him is Jack Sprague, then Joe Ruttman, Stacy Compton, and Mike Bliss. That's your top 5.
See, the 7 truck of Lonnie Rush has a fender rubbing the right front tire.
He is very slow on the racetrack, keeping it down on the low bottom end, and everybody's going around him very quickly. Up front, Hornaday and Sprague seem to be the class of the field right now. Stretch down into turn number 3. There you got a quick glimpse of Greg Biffle. He is shown in 7th position.
Right now, Jack Sprague does not have to pass Ron Hornaday to be the champion, as long as he runs in 2nd spot. Now then, if the 50 truck gets up right behind him or he starts losing a couple spots, then he has to be more aggressive with the steering wheel and accelerator.
And as we go back through the field, we look to pick up the number 50 in 7th position. There is Biffle with Jay Sauter right behind him. Out of the last 4 times that Biffle started outside of the top 10, he has managed to come back and finish 3rd or better, and that's what he needs to do to clinch the championship easily.
On this restart, he seems to be struggling just a little bit. He was behind right on the back bumper of the 25 truck going in turn 3 the last lap, but now he's lost 3 or 4 truck lengths.
The points chase right now, if the race ended, Jack Sprague would be the champion, Greg Biffle would be in 2nd position, and of course Dennis Setzer would be in 3rd. That number you see, that is their current race position on the track. So Dennis Setzer has managed to come back onto the track and pick up 1 position. 64 laps to go. Randy Tolsma there right in front of Greg Biffle and Jay Sauter. He's still looking for his first victory. In fact, it's been over 50 races since his last win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Last time out in Texas, he came home with his 5th place run, only his 2nd top 5 of the season. Been a bit starstruck. I mean, it seemed like every time they had a good run going, something would happen. He'd get swept up in a crash or have a mechanical. Right now, running a strong 6th with Biffle right behind and along with Jay Sauter.
Jay Sauter going for his 3rd victory in a row in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He was the winner at Louisville, was the winner at Texas just a couple of weeks ago. I think this is the 4th time this year that someone has been going for that 3rd victory in a row. No one has been able to pull it off.
You see Hornaday going through. Here comes the 25 of Tolsma. Tolsma finished 6th here in 98 and 5th in 97, so he likes California Speedway. Everybody up in the 170 mile an hour range as they come by the stripe this time. Speed still 170 plus. But somebody getting a black flag as we're looking back towards Andy Houston. The 44 of Bar Set and the 55 of Butch Miller. That is 9th, 10th, and 11th position on the racetrack. The black flag is going out for the
4 truck of Boris Sid goes by, trying to get by the 60 of Andy Houston. And looks like he'll make that pass. Here comes Butch Miller in the 55 trying to get by. So Houston on the pole position, but right now struggling trying to find that speed.
As we go on board with Andy Houston, we'll correct it. It is the 71 of Tommy Croft getting the black flag and exiting pit lane too quickly. So he'll have to serve his speeding ticket. Boy, when Andy had to feather that throttle, it allowed Boris just to pull away. And now Andy's under attack and being passed by Butch Miller. So that bumps him back a position.
Looks like Andy Houston has the pushing Croft. Let's watch him as he goes down to the 3rd corner. And then the truck, he'll turn the truck, but then as he comes off the corner, it looks like he wants to wash out toward the wall. And he has to really play with that throttle. Cannot get back on full throttle, so that allows these guys just to pull up on the inside of it, as Mike Wallace is doing right now.
They are side by side heading for turn number 1. Mike Stefanik, the Rookie of the Year in the 1999 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And congratulations to Mike and his team. He's currently shown in the 13th position, but it looks like he's getting on the coattails of Wallace, and they both may be able to get around Andy Houston. And here comes the 41 also. That's Randy Renfro.
Randy Renfro was running in the top 5. He made a pit stop that last caution flag, changed right side tires. So that's what Renfro's doing back in the 14th position now. Here comes Stefanik.
And that's underneath Wallace. So as they come around turn 4, look at this action. Stefanik trying to get around Wallace, and Renfro is right on his back bumper. This is all going on at 170 miles an hour. Stefanik can't quite get it done. Wallace able to hold on to the position. Stefanik, you see where he finished second. First race out of the box, and everybody thought, holy smokes, he's going to pick up right where he left off with the Busch North and the Federal Light Tour. But they've had their share of struggles, and it's been a big learning season for the Carlin Burners control team. And looking a little bit further back, that's Kevin Harvick right behind Stefanik, and then I should say Bob Keselowski in the team car to Dennis Setzer. And now Stefanik and Harvick get past the 41. Keselowski, 1997, he finished 8th here at California Speedway.
29 truck has been an R&D truck for the one team this year. He's only run a handful of races, but when they want to try something, they'll bring this Mopar Dodge to the track and try different chassis setup, different geometry in the front end. And this is a backup truck. Yesterday in practice, the last practice session, they crashed that primary truck, so that had to be a bitter disappointment. As you see, Mike Wallace trying to get on the inside of Andy Houston. That's Wallace in the blue and white number 2. Houston in the 60.
All these guys are battling for position on the racetrack. Houston leads it off in 11th. And then you go back up front where you'll find the leaders. That is Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague still running 1 and 2. Right now, Jack Sprague is in front in the championship chase. Stay with us. Back at the NAPA Auto Parts 200 at California Speedway, you're looking at the battle for the race lead. The two nemesis that have done so many times before. Ron Hornaday leading Jack Sprague, but in the championship chase right now, Sprague would win by 12 points if the race ended right now, because Greg Biffle has moved into 7th position, but he needs to pick up a few more spots if he wants to get the championship away from Jack Sprague. And there is Greg Biffle. If you're wondering, wait a minute, what happened to Dennis Setzer? He is well back at 31st.
Right now, Biffle is really struggling trying to get this Granger Dodge around the racetrack. The 3 truck. You see that he said he was telling the crew, let's try something, because right now he's at wit's end. The 3 truck of Sauter passed him, passed the 25 truck, and drove away. He got by the 25 truck, which you see Tolsma, he's not able to drive away from him like Jay Sauter did, so he's struggling right now.
He's 4 seconds behind the race leader of Ron Hornaday. Making their way through turns 3 and 4. Well, yesterday in qualifying, he almost hit the wall because of the wind. There is your race leader, Ron Hornaday.
just said, I'm not too bad by myself, but when he's getting around other trucks and to get to the front, he has to get by the trucks. That's when he's really struggling. I'm talking about Greg Biffle in the 50.
Right now, Sprague is content to stay right behind Ron Hornaday as those two are cutting through all this air. Biffle on the radio again. There's Jay Sauter. Here comes Biffle. He is still in 7th, 4.1 seconds behind the race leader.
And right now, he's right. Once the 3 truck and the 25 truck gets away from the gray truck, now he seems to be running at pretty good speed. Last time by, he was 4.1 seconds.
192 by myself here.
He was 4.15 seconds. So that time he came by was 4.16. So he's running as fast as the leader, but by himself.
So I'm sure Randy Goss and the guys. He's talking about how he can get through turns 1 and 2 and then not being able to get through 3 and 4. There is the interval of how it has gotten from 2.4 seconds between lap 44 all the way to 4.1 at lap 48. So Biffle has got his hands full right now, running in 7th position. Let's go battle in front. That's a battle for 3rd. You got Mike Bliss going around Joe Ruttman, and he takes the spot. On board with Ruttman. And he's been sort of lost in this championship shuffle, but he has run a very strong race from the drop of the green flag. Ruttman started 4th and has been in the top 5 all day long.
Right now, Greg Biffle is a team truck to the 99, the Exide truck with Mike Bliss. And right now the team has said, man, why couldn't Biffle be in this 99 truck right behind Sprague? Because then the championship would be ours.
Well, maybe Bliss can get up there and get around Sprague, move in between. That takes points away. Some of the guys going around some slower traffic there. That's Tom Bambard in the 23. And you see the 2 race leaders getting past. That's Hornaday and Sprague. Dave, you got more on both these guys?
Well, Marty, you know how it looks like they're both just out there kind of cruising, like their trucks are working perfect and like everything's A-okay? Well, that's exactly the report from their pits. The report from the 24 pit is Jack Sprague hasn't said a thing on the radio, which means everything is good. And I looked at Steve Beal and asked him, got the big thumbs up. So they're happy at the front of the pack. Amy?
Well, while Sprague's saying nothing on the radio, we have heard that Biffle is talking a lot on his radio, and it has a lot to do with that loose condition. Yesterday in happy hour, it was the same problem. While in the draft, the truck moved around a lot more than Greg felt comfortable with. Randy Goss has told him once again, hold on, buddy. We will make the changes to try to make you feel comfortable for the end of this race, but right now we need to stay out there and hope the yellow falls so that we can make that wedge adjustment.
Well, Biffle has 5 super speedway victories this year. That's more than anybody else on the tour. And if they can figure it out, I'm sure they will. They've done it before all season long. Look at the battle up front, and here comes Bliss. Bliss could be the spoiler because he could play a big factor here if he can squeeze past either one or both of these guys.
That's right. If he can get by Jack Sprague and bring Joe Ruttman with him, because Ruttman is right behind him. Sprague has been content to run behind Hornaday, but as he starts getting pressure from Bliss, he can't afford to stay there anymore because they can put him back in a position the championship would be lost.
Down the back straightaway. Amy, you've got more on Mike Bliss?
Well, we've seen Mike Bliss gain here in the last couple of laps, and crew chief Matt Chambers said that Mike was also complaining of a loose condition, but the more laps they ran, the more heat that got into the tires, the better the truck was, and they feel real comfortable that it's good in the draft. So look for Mike, now that he has caught the 2 leaders, to get in there, start some drafting, maybe slingshot for the lead.
Bliss qualified 16th. He's going to try the high side, Benny.
I don't know. Yes, he is trying to the outside. He is going to the outside. I thought maybe he was just testing it out there to see what would happen, but instead he goes by Sprague and takes over the 2nd spot. Well, not so fast, BP.
Well, the draft sort of helped as Sprague stayed tucked in. If he'd have had that car or that truck right there, Joe Ruttman alongside, he might have been able to push it around. Now he's going to try it on the outside again.
Right now, Hornaday is being the friend of Jack Sprague. He comes down to help Sprague and give him that drafting help to pull him along because he knows that Sprague is not going to try to pass him as hard as Bliss is going to try.
Yeah, had this been earlier in the year, Hornaday would have left him. Right now, the NAPA Chevrolet is helping the GMAC Chevrolet. Look at the outside again, going down the back straightaway. Bliss in the Exide Ford is trying that outside line. What it is doing, though, Benny, is this battle is slowing up all these guys because the lead is cut down a full 1/10 of a second in one lap.
And it's allowing the 3 of Jay Sauter and the 50 of Greg Biffle to get closer and closer to this front battle. Because obviously, in moving around the way these trucks are, they aren't running at full speed.
At the line this time by, who's the quickest? Greg Biffle, 167.8.
But you can see just how close these trucks are. They all ran over the 167 mile per hour. And here comes Bliss once again. But see, Sprague can't use the entire racetrack, and that's slowing him down.
Now you're saying, wait a minute, they used to be running 170. Well, that gives you an idea just how much tire wear has a factor in this equation, because we've been out there for about over 32 laps.
Right along with Jack Sprague as he tries to follow Ron Hornaday, tries to stay in that second spot. Meanwhile, Bliss will not give it up on the outside. And Stacy Compton, the RC Colored Dodge, has joined this group.
I think I figured out what is wrong with Mike Bliss. I think he's a little upset with Hornaday. Bliss used to have the all-time laps led here with 93. Guess what? Hornaday just took it away from him. He's got 94 and counting.
Right along with Stacy Compton, the RC Colored Dodge. And once again, Bliss goes to the outside. There's traffic up there. How's this going to play out? Is he going to help Bliss? Sprague? Hornaday? And Dennis Setzer down on the inside. And here comes Bliss trying to get some drafting help from Dennis Setzer.
Bliss, Rutman, Compton, they all squeeze down in between everybody. And look at this. Holy smokes. The 71 of Tommy Croft is up high. Everybody else is down low. Sprague's loose. Bliss touches him just momentarily.
And once again, Sprague about lost the back end. You look at him trying to go 3, 4 wide down the backstretch.
Bliss wants to force the issue here. Compton wants to win his first race of the year. He's trying to get around Rutman there in that battle. Another nice save, this time by Jack Sprague. So both our championship contenders have had to make great saves in turn 2. Hornaday gets a little breathing space because of all the contact, about 2/10 of a second. On board with Sprague, there's Bliss.
So we can see that these trucks are struggling a little bit right now trying to get around the racetrack. If they were just right now, we'd see Jay Sauter trying to break the draft back on Greg Biffle, but right now these trucks would probably be wise to short pit. Stop early and change those right sides, make whatever chassis adjustments they need, but they're just all terrified to stop, afraid the caution flag will come out and render them a lap down.
Well, and plus it would turn it into a 3-stop race then also.
Might be pulling off the fuel, Greg. 16 might.
See,
All right.
he said 16 might pit. Once again, I think right now the truck that pits first, if we don't have any more caution flags, will be the winner. Because I think they can run about the rest of the way on fuel. We'll have to find out. And we see once again, there's Bliss trying to take over that second spot.
He likes the high side on the racetrack right now in the Exide Ford. There he goes again. We'll come back and check in on the pit stops, but we got to take a break here at the NAPA Auto Parts 200. Ron Hornaday out front. Stay with us.
Back at the NAPA Auto Parts 200, Jack Sprague, the points leader. Right side tires, wedge adjustment. Also in Ron Hornaday, his throttle was struck open. They hope they fix that situation.
Well, Sprague had taken the lead just before the pit stop. Hornaday gets it back. Here's Andy Houston. They got a problem in that right rear.
Making a chassis adjustment back in the right rear spring.
Were they taking a rubber out or putting one in?
I don't know. Here comes Joe Rutman down off pit road on the pits, make his pit stop. Jack going onto the right side.
under green flag conditions, you could change all 4. There is Butch Miller. He has had a good run in the Ice House Beer Ford. That's the last time that truck's going to be out. And one of the trucks looks like Keselowski has pulled behind the wall. The 29 of Bob Keselowski has pulled behind the wall. The team truck to Dennis Setzer.
And Mike Bliss, the Exide truck, has beaten the 24 and 16 out of. He has a lead on them after these pit stops are completed as Stacy Compton makes his pit stop.
Compton had inherited the lead, picked up 5 bonus points as he makes his way to the pits. Here's Dave.
Stacy Compton took on right side tires on the first pit stop. Crew chief Kevin Cram told him, that's it for right sides. Save them. You're going to need them for the rest of the day. They put on left side tires now and fuel up the RC Cola Dodge. Andy Houston's coming back in, guys. Benny, you wondered if they were taking, actually Marty, you wondered if they were taking the rubber out or putting one in. He has been so tight. They have been working on, oh, and look, they've got the adjustment wrench still in the right side of the truck. They put on right side tires and now they're going to put on lefts to try to get Andy back in this show, but it's going to be a long road to hoe.
And Greg Biffle stayed on the racetrack. He finally led a lap. So he's negated that 5 bonus point advantage that Jack Sprague has. Now I'm sure he'll make his pit stop the next time.
I think he must have heard you, Benny. No, Jay Sauter is now in as well. Dave?
Right side tires for Sauter. He's been loose all day, but a little bit better that last time. These right side tires are not going to help him, except that they're going to make an air pressure adjustment and try to tighten him up just a little bit more.
Sauter back out. Greg Biffle now will be making his way onto pit lane, and here he comes, guys. Let's listen to the radio traffic, as I'm sure they'll talk him right into the pits. Amy, he's coming your way.
Yeah, Marty, here comes Biffle, and they had kept
Okay,
talking.
you're good right there.
As you can hear right now, that they wanted to lead the lap, get the 5 points. That was a given. Now they're going to take on the right sides. They've got the wrench out to make the wedge adjustment. Also went up a little bit on the air pressures. They think this will help Greg in the draft and hopefully win him this championship. A little trouble, though. Can't get the fuel in. He's good, and he's out. 15.7, not that bad for the Granger Ford.
Something desperately long, could not get fuel in the truck. He sit there trying to get the thing full of fuel as all his contenders go by.
Biffle back up on the racetrack.
Turn 2.
Max Jones telling him to stay on the apron till turn 2.
Stay on the apron to turn 2.
There is your race leader, Bobby Hamilton, and the Chelsea Dana Dodge has taken over the front spot. So we now have another lead change there as Bobby started 23rd, has now led 2 of the 68 laps that we have run. In fact, we've now had 7 different leaders, 8 lead changes. The record last year, 17, so we've got a bit of a ways to go. It looks like maybe Hamilton may be getting ready to make a pit stop as well. Biffle is back out on the racetrack right now. Amy, shown in 15th position. What happened on the stop?
They took on 2 cans of fuel, which of course is going to take them a little bit longer than what it just takes to change the right side tires. So the holdup was the fuel. Randy Goss wanted to get in as much as possible so that they will not have to stop for the rest of this race. Dave Burns.
Amy, Ron Hornaday's throttle was sticking in the down position. I guess that's good if you're leading because you can keep the thing motored around the track. But it stays stuck, and he does have to lift at least once around the California Speedway. So he reaches over with his left foot and has to pick the throttle pedal back up off the floor. It's not easy to do, is it, Benny?
No, it certainly isn't. It's something very difficult, especially when you've got Jack Sprague and Jay Sauter right behind you on the back tailgate.
And you're doing this at 170 miles an hour. That's the other element that we have to throw into the equation. So right now, they are running 9th and 10th on the racetrack. The race leader is Bobby Hamilton here at the NAPA Auto Parts 200. Stay with us. Back at the NAPA Auto Parts 200, you're looking at Bobby Hamilton, our current race leader, as we have completed 73 of 100 laps here at California Speedway. Randy Tolsma right in front of him. Let's take a look at our Dodge race recap. The current leaders, we said, Bobby Hamilton has led 7 laps. We've had 8 lead changes, 2 cautions for a total of 11 laps. Our average speed is under the record by about 8 miles an hour. We're at 132. Our lap leaders, right now Ron Hornaday has led the most, but you'll notice that Jack Sprague has picked up 5 bonus points, as well as Greg Biffle, as he picked up just recently his 5 bonus points for leading that 1 lap before he pitted. And Terry Cook and Ken Schrader are off the track right now and out of the race. Bob Keselowski, David Starr, Kevin Sawinski, Austin Cameron, Rick Crawford. Let's take a look at the championship update right now based on where they're running on the racetrack. If everything ended as is, it would be Greg Biffle's championship. Jack Sprague, who's actually running in the 10th position, would finish second. Dennis Setzer has gotten back out on the racetrack. He's running in 30th position, and he would keep on holding on to the 3rd spot. But that's going to change, BP, because there's some guys that have to pit in front of these guys.
Well, I say that they have to pit. As a matter of fact, as I say, here comes a leader down pit road. Here comes Jimmy Hensley down pit road. Also Kevin Harvick. So you're right, these trucks did have to make a pit stop. I was wondering if maybe they were going to try to make it the rest of the way from that last caution flag we had, but obviously they couldn't make it as Hamilton stops and right side's going on.
We're at the 3/4 mark, 75 of 100 laps complete, so this should definitely be enough for fuel. And looks like Hensley's going to get out first.
You would have thought with just 25 laps to go that Hamilton did not need that much fuel, but they waited to put that second can up there. Now here comes more trucks making pit stops. Mike Wallace coming on pit road, also the 41 truck.
And we're on board with Mike Wallace. He had inherited the lead, and the 41 of Randy Renfro was running in second, so he makes the stop. That 9 lead changes now between 8 drivers. They're going to work on the right side as well, as you can tell by the way the camera angle has changed.
Uh-oh, trouble with the right front. Had to go back and get another gun or something. Long pit stop for Mike Wallace.
So the Ultra Bad Boys, who have been almost flawless all season long, they have helped Wallace pick up spots time and time again. This time something goes horribly wrong, and the number 2 is going back out on the track after a long stop.
Chip, upper right there, the Dunlop people here this weekend sponsored a couple of trucks, and they asked Mike Wallace to put the sticker up there in memory of Payne Stewart. We'll miss you, and folks, that is never a truer statement has been made. Unbelievable story, the first of this week.
Let's set this up for you right now. The race leader is now the 99 of Mike Bliss. Second place is the 16 Napa Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday. The 24 GMAC Chevrolet of Jack Sprague is third. And the number 3 Goodwrench Chevy of Jay Sauter right there, the black number 3, is in 4th. So this is getting good, Benny. Bliss is out in front by 1.3 seconds over these 3 guys.
But these 3 guys are now hooked up together. They've been drafted for the last few laps, and they are getting closer and closer to Mike Bliss, because Bliss out there has no drafting partner whatsoever. And right now, Bliss is running, well, that lap, Mike Bliss ran faster than these 3 Chevrolets by himself. He ran 168, and these Chevrolet trucks ran 167 something. So,
and Sprague almost brushed the wall coming out of 4.
He did that.
Amy, you got more on what happened to Mike Wallace's pit stop?
Yeah, it looked a little crazy down here in the Team ASC pit, but what had actually happened is that Mike ran over the air hose for the right front tire changer, Matt Pusha. So they had to take it off the jack, roll the truck back to free up the air to that gun, and then again jack him back up and get the right sides on. So this flawless team of the Ultra Bad Boys all year, last 2 weeks in a row, have had some tough stops. But overall, they have to be proud of their season.
Right now, as we watch this battle going on, Sprague is running in 3rd place. Biffle is back in 7th. And you can see the hand gestures right now. He's trying to signal.
Hey, I think he's trying to tell Sauter not to get too close, but right now that GMAC Chevrolet is really struggling to get through the corners. So Sprague that last time wiggling badly up there. But watch as he comes up right up against that outside retaining wall, trying to use all the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's chasing the back up there, or if he's pushing up there.
Right now, if the race ended with Sprague in 3rd, Biffle in 7th, guess who wins? Biffle by 2 points.
By 2 points.
We've got 20 laps to go. We'll be back with the finish at California Speedway. Don't go anywhere. The championship is at stake. The drama continues to build at California Speedway, the final round of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Mike Bliss, the XI4, just going through the front of your camera shot there, is leading this race. We talked about him playing the role of spoiler. Right now, he is, because by him leading the race, it has bumped Jack Sprague back to third. And that means Sprague right now would lose the championship by 2 points. He lost it last year by 3.
Wow. 2 championships by 5 points. That quite doesn't seem to be quite right, but there we see if Sprague can get by the 16, the Napa Chevrolet, he will win the championship. If Biffle can stay where he is in 7th spot and Sprague stays where he is, he will win the championship. So many questions yet to be answered with just 16 laps to go.
Isn't it ironic also that it comes down to a possible assist from the 16 of Ron Hornaday, his old Warrior buddy. They may need some help from that 16 truck. Let's go to Dave with Dennis Conner.
Well, Dennis Conner and Steve Meal are talking right now for the second time. Dennis, what have you and Steve decided to do?
We're gonna do our best to finish the race. The 16 is working with us to help us try to win the championship. Obviously, I have no belief that he's gonna throw away any chance of winning the race, but anything he can do to help us within reason.
So he won't do that. How else can he help you? If he won't let you buy for points, how can he help you?
Well, you can talk all kind of deals, but when it comes down to it, the race driver's in charge, and I don't think that's any more likely to happen than it would happen if the shoes were reversed.
Well, let's try Steve Meal real quick. Steve, are you going to let them go by? Dennis says you probably won't do that.
We're not going to have to let them go by. We're all going to pass that 99. Looks like the Ford's going to pass the 50, so we're in good shape.
All right, that's what it's doing for down here, guys.
Now, he said that Bobby Hamilton said, what he said is these 3 Chevrolets are going to chase down the 99 and pass Mike Bliss. But they're losing ground right now, Steve. Go check your clocks. And he's also saying that Bobby Hamilton is going to catch Greg Biffle. And right now, he's probably right, because Hamilton is only a 1.5 seconds behind Biffle, and he's getting closer and closer. Biffle is struggling right now with his Granger Ford, and Hamilton getting closer and closer to him.
Biffle is 15 seconds behind the race leader. That just shows you how far back he is. Amy, you're with his crew chief, Randy Goss.
Yeah, and while Mike Bliss has been the one that has given them that position to get in this championship run again, Randy, any strategies for the end of the race? Any deals trying to be made to try to win this championship?
No, we're not trying to make any deals. We missed our setup a little bit. We don't got what we exactly wanted under the Granger Ford. But Greg's driving the heck out of it for as good a truck as we give him. And I don't think them guys are going to give Spragster anything up front. I think them guys want to beat him, so hopefully we just will hang on.
All right, well, we're going to let Randy get back to timing. He's timing every lap that Greg goes by. He's watching the monitor, and he's making sure that his driver stays in the lead for this championship race.
There you saw the blue truck of Bobby Hamilton getting closer and closer. There's a couple of slow trucks between them, but there we see the 41 truck. He's a lap down. Here comes Bobby Hamilton. He is right now just a couple of seconds behind, maybe 1.5 seconds behind Greg Biffle.
Coming to the stripe, we'll be able to tell you here in just a moment. It is about
0.6
of a second. It is really, and it was 1.3 last lap, Benny, so he's chopped off quite a bit. Biffle has got to hold on to 7th place, providing Sprague stays where he is in 3rd. It has been a phenomenal year for Greg Biffle. 9 wins, a series record. Only 2 finishes outside the top 15. His average finish, look at that on the super speedway, 4.5, but he's going to have trouble doing it today. That truck is ill handling, and he is trying all he can just to hang on to 7th position.
This is Randy Renfro. He's a lap down to these trucks. Meanwhile, here's once again the battle for 2nd place. Hornaday, the 16, the 24 truck of Sprague.
And these two are 2 seconds behind Greg Biffle. So if they're going to get Bliss, that they're going to have to get on their ponies. Dave, you got more?
Marty, Steve Meal has been back over to Dennis Conner talking, and Steve told me that what they're watching now is that they believe the 41 and the 04 of Bobby Hamilton can overhaul the 50, which means that Ron Hornaday doesn't have to give up any positions at the front. So if that happens, Ron doesn't have to give up anything. He can win the race. Jack can stay in second. Biffle falls back. Sprague wins the championship.
Well, it just happened because the 04 has gone by, and so has Jimmy Hensley. This is costly for Greg Biffle.
So those two trucks getting by has gone. There we see Sprague's group cheering as the two Dodges go by the Ford of Biffle.
So Sprague would now win the championship, and there are the points right now. Biffle would be in second place by 6. Just that quickly, it changed from a 2-point lead to a 6-point deficit.
And the 41 truck, Randy Renfro, is a lap down to Greg Biffle, so that really and truly didn't matter. The next truck that he has to worry about is Boris Said. And I don't know exactly where Boris is on the racetrack, but
we are under 10 laps to go. We're working on lap 92 of 100. You're on board with Greg Biffle.
We're going to practice 2 Dodges, guys.
that's Max Jones telling Greg Biffle that you got to pass those 2 Dodges if you're going to win. And the caution flag is out.
Caution is out. We're looking from the racetrack. Officials are pointing towards turn 4 area. So it looks like B.A. Wilson, it may be the reason that this yellow came out. There may be oil on the racetrack as he has quickly made his way going straight behind the wall.
See, Cornwell Tools on the sponsorship on that car had a lot of guests here today.
B.A. had given it a pretty good run. He was running in 23rd, 2 laps down.
So now we've got 16 trucks on the lead lap. How many of these trucks will make a pit stop and give up that track position? And Mike Bliss had victory just all but clinched, and now the contenders are right on his tailgate.
And the master of the restart, Ron Hornaday, will be in that number 2 slot. So let's set this for you. Bliss wants to get another victory. He's leaving the team after this race. Hornaday wants to finish his career with a victory in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That man's on the verge of a championship. Jack Sprague has a 6-point lead over Greg Biffle. Biffle finds himself in 9th position. And are we talking like, could this be Wall Street? And could be talking a few dollars here? The deal making is going on. We'll find out as Amy and Dave will be patrolling pit lane for us here at the NAPA Auto Parts 200. Back at California Speedway, we're under our 3rd caution of the day. Let's reset this for you, our 3rd caution. We're on board with Jack Sprague. He's currently in 3rd position. If he stays there, he wins the championship by 6 points over Greg Biffle because Biffle is in 9th. Now remember the 10-lap rule. All the lead lap trucks, all 16 of them, will get to move to the front of the line. Dave, let's get some information on strategy. What's going on with the 24?
We try to give you the salient information, Marty. Steve Meal from Ron Hornaday, Dennis Conner from the 24 of Sprague, and the 3 of Jay Sauter's crew chief, Todd Barrier, were all talking together. At the end of the conversation, Steve Meal said, all right, look, boys, we just all go at this, stay about right where we are, knock the heck out of the 99 truck, and start the party. Now, since then, Dennis Conner has been on the radio to Jack Sprague saying, Jack, I don't know if I trust the 3. They want to win this thing, and I'm not sure they're going to work with us. So stay tuned there. Amy?
Well, the talk down here in the 50 pit is that they seem to think all the front runners are going to be concerned with themselves and forget about old Greg Biffle back there. So they said, hang in, buddy, pass as many trucks as possible. Hopefully the guys up front will get so into the win that we can get the championship.
Well, Biffle has 3 Dodges right in front of him.
Hey,
The 43 of Jimmy Hensley,
41.
Hamilton, and Joe Whitmer.
But see, the 41, they're talking about the 41. When these trucks line up for a restart, the 41 will go behind Greg Biffle because he is a lap down, and all the lead lap trucks will line up nose to tail for a restart with about 4 laps to go.
Well, we have now, we'll be completing lap number 95. We'll have 5 to go.
But the bad news for the 50 truck is that moves all these other trucks right up on his tailgate. And I'm talking about 44, Boris Said. Never see Boris.
We have 5 laps remaining. And Greg Biffle says, I need every one of those laps I can get. His teammate, Mike Bliss, is looking for his 2nd victory of the year. He wants to cap off his campaign with a win as he moves on to another ride next season. Jay Sauter, that Goodwrench Chevy team, is obviously being disbanded. They are moving on. Jay to a Busch ride. Whoa, what was that? Mike Wallace stopped down in turn number 1?
Mike Wallace was sitting on the apron of the racetrack, and I see a wrecker is coming up behind him to give him a push, and it appears as though the Team ASC Ford is not running.
Could he have run out of fuel?
No, he just stopped. He just made a pit stop.
Well, we'll see if they can get him restarted here.
And you can hear that it isn't.
It's not firing.
I wouldn't be surprised if leaving pit road he did not break a drive shaft or a gear or something like that. As a matter of fact, the wrecker's pushing another truck in up in turn 4. So we've got 2 wreckers on the racetrack right now pushing vehicles in, as we see Ron Barfield in the Lucas Oil Chevrolet being pushed in.
For Mike Wallace, he won at Homestead and Pikes Peak. For Ron Barfield, he started out the year in the 55 ride, ended up here in the 42, and he'll be driving for them next year. Let's get an update on Jack Sprague. Dave?
Marty, it's fast and furious down here in the deal-making department. Gas man Randy Atkin walked down to crew chief Todd Barrier for Jay Sauter. He handed his headset to Todd Barrier, and Todd Barrier was spoken to by Jack Sprague. Jack pleaded with Todd to get Jay to help him, to not make him too loose coming off the corners, and to try to let him win this championship. And he got reasonable assurances back from Todd Barrier.
Will the lights go out on the pace truck? Yes, they did. So we have completed 96 of 100 laps. That means next time by, we'll have 3 laps to go to decide the race win and the 1999 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Will it be Jack Sprague or Greg Biffle? That is Randy Goss, crew chief for Greg Biffle. The tension, the butterflies, the nerves.
I would think right now that the advantage has to go to Jack Sprague, the 24 truck, because he is surrounded by Chevrolets. He has a Chevrolet in front, a Chevrolet behind, where Biffle has a Ford behind him, but he has Dodges in front of him. So I don't think they're going to be too keen to move over and let Greg Biffle go on. So I would think that right now the advantage has to be Sprague.
Coming out of turn 2 now onto the backstretch. They always say the hardest part in sports is the waiting. Well, you know what they mean. These guys want to get it on. You get used to running at 170, and all of a sudden you're doing 65 miles an hour behind the pace truck, and you know exactly what you have to have happen. And you're just saying, please, let's get it done.
These guys shouldn't hang their heads too low because they had a terrific year in this Granger Ford, winning 9 races.
Remember, as we get ready for this restart, Ron Hornaday has been the master ever since he has been in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at getting the jump. Mike Bliss is going to have to be quick on the trigger. We're into turn number 4. You're on board.
We're 8 now.
Jay Sauter is slowing. Sauter is down on the apron. This could continue the yellow flag situation unless he can make it.
And but right now and then the caution flag comes back out. Meanwhile, Sauter is getting a push from Dennis Setzer.
So the lights are going to have to go back on. Did Sauter run out of fuel?
Sure looks that way.
We're going to have to take a break. We'll figure this out. No, he got it bump started now, so he's moving down into pit lane. Stay with us. We'll be back with the finish. Two laps remain. We're going green at the NAPA Auto Parts 200 with Jay Sauter dropping out with an empty fuel tank. That means the points differential is 2. On the restart, here comes Hornaday. Can Sprague get around and pick up a spot? Can Biffle pick up a spot?
Biffle has been able to get by the 43 truck. He has picked up a spot. And right now the looks like the Dana Dodge is trying to come up and pass Jack Sprague. Sprague has not gained anything unless these two trucks rise. Here comes Sprague to the inside. He's trying to take the lead, and he does take the lead.
He gets past Hornaday. He takes the race lead. Here comes Ruttman, moving Hornaday back to third. Bliss all the way to fourth right now. But Jack Sprague may have just sealed his own fate. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go for the championship and the race win. Jack Sprague. He would win the championship by 8. There is the Granger Ford.
He closes him on the back bumper of Bobby Hamilton. But meanwhile, can Joe Ruttman get alongside Sprague? Here comes Bliss on the outside of the 16. Right now, no one is moving.
Sprague weaves his way down the backstretch, trying to break up the airflow. Biffle, you can see him back in the distance there. Biffle's got to make a kamikaze move on the inside. Into turn 3. Biffle can't get around his Exide Ford teammate. Coming out of turn 4. Last year, Jack Sprague lost the championship while winning the race. This year, Jack Sprague looks like he is going to win the race and the championship. Jack Sprague, the GMAC Financial Services Chevrolet, holds off the hard-charging Greg Biffle. Biffle ends up in 7th position, and the swing will be a total of 8 points. And here comes Biffle up alongside to congratulate Jack Sprague. What a great season Greg Biffle has had with 9 victories. Sprague picks up his first Super Speedway win since last year's season finale at Las Vegas, and is now the second man to win 2 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championships. Dave, you're with Dennis Conner.
He is taking deep breaths, and I think in disbelief. Can you believe that you just won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship again?
Well, I'm not really 100% certain right at the present point in time, but if you say so, if you're wrong.
Our numbers look good right now, Dennis. Congratulations.
Team GMAC came out here definitely at a deficit because of the really bad performance we put on at Texas. And it really had to take a special set of circumstances to be able to win the championship. But it's very important to us and very meaningful, because now we're going to have to make Rick Hendrick leave Charlotte and go to a championship banquet. If you're right, you better be right.
And I think I'm right, guys. It looks like Sprague is our champion.
Well, by our count, it is 8 points. Of course, all the inspections have to be done. And look at this, the 2 old rivals climbing out. And the crowd cheering for them both. Don't fall over, guys. There's a lot of celebrating still to do, and we've got about 15 minutes before we're going to be going off the air. We'll be talking to our race winner and our champion, Jack Sprague, as he is getting congratulations from his crew here at California Speedway. Guys, going to try and get Biffle, because he looks like he's heading for the interview.
Where's Biffle going? Where's he going?
Biffle's going out the tunnel, guys.
Out which tunnel?
Behind victory lane, right underneath the scoring area.
Okay.
He's already heading out.
Under the pylon, you mean?
Where
Yeah,
Barfield,
no.
where the trucks are going in, where the trucks are going in the garage area.
Is that for turn 4?
No, it's the middle, right at the middle
At
of
the
the racetrack.
start-finish line.
Okay.
Right
okay.
start finish.
Long way.
Back at the NAPA Auto Parts 200, the championship has been decided, and you're looking at the winning truck and driver, Jack Sprague. After his victory lap at the 2-mile oval, he has made it to the inspection area where they have approved the rear spoiler, and now he'll make his way down towards where Amy East is positioned and getting the congratulations of all the competitors and crew members. As look at the smile on his face. Yesterday, you could not have gotten a smile out of him because the truck was just so ill handling. And then in qualifying, the wind came up. He managed to get a good run in. His confidence level came back, and boy, did this team put together a great race today, as he has driven the GMAC Financial Services Chevrolet to its second NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship here at California Speedway. Let's take a look at the full field results as we're waiting for Jack to make it to victory lane. Of the arrows indicate who's led a lap. The double arrows, Ron Hornaday led the most laps. And Joe Ruttman with a great season ender to finish with a season best second. Stacy Compton still looking for that victory. And Bobby Hamilton a good run in fourth. Mike Bliss, that last yellow, bumped him back to fifth. On down through the list, and you can see that we had several trucks that went at least one lap down and several on the way. Dennis Setzer, as you see, back in the 29th position. And then Kenny Schrader, the man who looked so good yesterday, unfortunately, the first man out of the race in 36th position. So now they have found victory lane, and Amy, it's all yours.
Well, I am mobbed down here by tons of GMAC Chevrolet, and even the NAPA folks are down here to congratulate Jack Sprague. He's trying to get out of the truck, and he finally does. There he is, your 1999 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, 2 times in Jack's career. He did what he had to do. He won the race. He gets drenched from Ron Hornaday. These guys have raced for years, and the fans have absolutely loved the rivalry, and they've shown their sportsmanship. Jack, you did it, buddy. Get that hat on. You did what you had to do. Where's your wife? Let's get her over here. She's trying to get through the crowd. I'm trying to get the interview, you guys, but let me tell you, this has been one of the toughest championships for Jack Sprague. It's been so, there he goes, a hug from his wife. Oh, Rhonda and Jack. All right, enough of this lovey stuff, you guys. Congratulations. Jack, you did what you had to do, buddy. You won the race and you won the championship. Tell me about that last green-white checkered shootout. I mean, deals were being made. You knew something had to happen or that championship was not going to be yours.
Well, first of all, you know, this was a long stretch to win this thing. We've had a tough year, but I tell you, the guys have done a great job, Dennis, and the whole team GMAC, and I had a lot of friends out there today. I got to thank Ron Hornaday tremendously. We drafted together all day, and he helped me win the race. And you know, all the other Jay Sauter and all the Chevrolet drivers helped me tremendously. I couldn't have done this on my own, but had an awful lot of friends out there, and I want to thank Rick and Papa Joe and John and whole Hendrick family and my mom and dad, my daughter Paige at home, and can't believe we won this thing, but especially GMAC, great sponsor, had a great year. Not a great year, but it worked out all right. So AC Delco Protection Plan, Quaker State, all our sponsors, just I can't believe I'm here.
All right, now I need to know, Jack, is Biffle going to be your new rival now that Ron is leaving the series? Are we going to see the two of you battling like this down to the last race again next year?
Well, let me make something very clear. There's nobody's ever going to replace Ron Hornaday. He's a hell of a race car driver. He's a class act, and there's only 3 or 4 drivers I've raced against in my life that are the caliber he is. And nobody's going to replace Ron, and I don't look for another rivalry with anybody because what we had was pretty special.
All right, this is the champion of the 1999 season, Jack Sprague, and he is happy. Dave Burns.
Down here with Greg Biffle. He's already back at the hauler. Greg, a lot going on there at the end of the race. What happened?
Well, it's just you know, it's the best we could do today, and that's all the Granger Ford had in it. The guys did a fantastic job all season. NASCAR got what they wanted here this weekend, and you know, we're just going to just be better next year, and you know, hopefully have more than a 130-point lead, and you know, just come down to the end races. It won't make a difference.
Did you feel like you had a chance to race for the championship this afternoon, or were too many decisions being made behind pit wall?
No, I felt that we could race for the championship, definitely, and we struggled a little bit here trying to get the truck tightened up and get it aero balanced. You know, it's obvious all the Chevys up front that they got a little better package, so I didn't see any Fords up there. Mike ran good all day. I got to congratulate my teammate. I'm not sure what happened at the end there, but I had the championship until the last couple lap pass. I'm not sure what went on up there. I was trying to concentrate in front of me.
Okay, Greg Biffle, gracious in defeat this afternoon. He does take a Ford Manufacturers Championship with him this year. Amy East.
All right, well, Jack had asked me as the champion to have one more minute. Jack, what did you want to say that you didn't get in?
I don't know if I got it in or not, but I've got to thank Chevrolet. If I forget that, it cost me a lot of money. So, you know, I'll tell you what, came out with this new body style, and we struggled with it, and they've helped us tremendously. And hopefully next year we'll get her straightened up a little bit better. But I'll tell you what, them guys stuck behind us, and I've got to thank Chevrolet, and like I said, GMAC, Rick Hendrick, and everybody involved. It's a great day for us.
All right, we let Jack talk one more time, and you know what? He's the champion. We'll let him do that. Ford wins the Manufacturers Championship, but the Chevrolet driver got the championship.
You know, for 7 months, these teams have crisscrossed the country. 25 times they've gone into battle, full of hope and determination, knowing only one driver and team could move on with the knowledge that for one day, they were better than all the rest.
Earnhardt or Rich.
At the end of this 25-round war, only one driver and one team remain standing atop the others. Jack Sprague and Hendrick Motorsports made history, fighting back from a record 3 DNFs to claim their second championship. For Benny Parsons, Dave Burns, and Amy East, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks to our crew, NASCAR, especially to you, the viewers. We hope you enjoyed this season, and we'll see you next year in February at Daytona. So long, everybody.